Hi, Joe Caminati here with Average Joes Archery, here today to talk to you about releases. I know that there's a lot of different uses and a lot of different people come in here with questions on what release is going to be right for me. So I'm going to go through some of the basics of the releases here, different styles and types, and how they might fit you best. Start off, there's two main categories of releases. There's the wrist strap release and the T-handle style release. In each one of those categories, there's several different types. I'll start off here. This happens to be the Scott Mongoose XT, and this is a single jaw caliper. You'll notice here that when I depress the trigger, one jaw moves. That's what makes it a single caliper. Next here, I have a TrueFire Edge, and this is what we would call a dual caliper. When I depress the trigger, both jaws on that release move. You can see that, how they both open. And then finally, my example here, I have the TrueFire Hardcore. This is a cam or hook style release. When I depress the trigger here, the hook rolls out of the way, allowing for you to fire the arrow. Those are the three basic styles of wrist strap releases. Wrist straps are mainly intended for hunting. We see a lot of recreational or new shooters also use this just because of their ease. I prefer the hook style release here, and I can demonstrate why. One of the reasons that I like the hook style release, especially for hunting, is when I'm trying to hook into that string, I don't actually have to look down at it. I can find that with my thumb and hook in here. It makes it a lot easier, like I said, to find that D-loop of my thumb, hook in, and I'm not taking my eyes off the animal or the game here, or it cuts down on my movement. Once again, thumb, hook in, and I'm ready to go. So that's one of the reasons why I prefer the wrist strap release or the hook style wrist strap release. Now when we get into T-handles, there's three main styles of T-handles. We have our thumb trigger. So this operates just like the caliper releases. It's got a thumb trigger. When I depress that trigger, it actually rotates out of the way. This can be a hook style like you see here. This is a Spot Hog brand 3-finger release. They also make them in caliper form with the dual jaws as well. Next we have a hinge. How the hinge works is by rotation of the hand. This is not a trigger or anything like that. As I rotate my hand, the sear will release, firing the string. So very, very consistent release, mainly used for target shooting. And then we have the tension activated release. This one here, when I depress the trigger, it activates a safety. You pull back through your draw cycle, and there's a spring in here that is actually set to the holding weight of your bow, plus or minus, actually about plus 3 to 4 pounds. So you would hold the safety, draw through your draw cycle. When you get back to full draw, you release the safety and then add extra weight, allowing the spring in here to release the sear and fire. Both of the back tension and the hinges are predominantly used for not hunting, but for target archery. That way, the archer can hold consistent all the way through their shot. It forces the archer to hold steady on the target all the way through the shot process, allowing them to have more of a consistent release and consistent shot. The thumb trigger here in the T-handle, that's kind of a crossover release. It could be used for both hunting and for target applications, depending on what your use is for, 3D, recreational, all of the above. Kind of a crossover, crosses both sides. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to shoot some of these releases here, hopefully give you an idea of what you're looking for. Start off with the TrueFire Hardcore here. It's a wrist strap style release with the cam. So I'll anchor in normally. Then as I depress that trigger, that cam rotates out of the way, allowing it to fire. Now we'll switch over here to the T-handle styles. We'll start off with the Spot Hog thumb trigger. So slightly different anchor point with the T-handle versus the wrist strap due to the hand position. Once again, draw back, settle into my anchor point, squeeze that thumb, allowing the release to fire. Next, we're going to try the hinge. Both the hinge and the tension activated release are a totally different style of release, just because you're not actually forcing the trigger or making it fire. It's more of a passive motion. So with the hinge here, I draw back, settle into my anchor point, and then as I rotate my hand, it allows that release, or the sear in the release, to let go. And then last but not least, we have the tension activated release. This is the one where you have to hold that safety through your draw cycle, and it's all driven by the spring in here. So hook in, holding that safety through your draw cycle, settle into your anchor point, release the safety, and pull through the shot, adding that additional weight and forcing the spring to release the sear. So like I said, many different applications for all these releases. Kind of depends on what you as an archer are looking for, whether it's hunting, recreational, or target archery. We have definitely some releases here for you. So if you have any questions, feel free to talk to one of our technicians here at Average Joe's Archery, and we can get you set up with a release that's going to work for you. Thanks a lot. Have a great night.